Hello, and welcome to the Beyond Average Journeys of Growth and Increasing Value interview series. And I'm your host, Kristen Carlson. And today I'm joined by Ralph Harvey, CEO at listwithfreedom.com in Boynton Beach, Florida. Ralph, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure and honor to be with you.
Thank you. So, why don't you kick us off with just a brief background about you and your business?
Okay, so I live here in South Florida. Been here for decades. Um, Got into the real estate business probably going 23, 24 years ago, something like that now. And I did all the traditional stuff that people did in real estate, buying and selling houses and helping people with that process on it. And then uh, List with Freedom was a company that was out there that was founded by Jim Tominski, who's my partner now. So Jim um, was going to close the business down, and through a mutual attorney, we found each other and connected. I bought the company and started running it, and then Jim stayed around as the technical person. And um, next thing you know, we're friends and partners, and we've grown from the state of Florida to the entire continental United States. So we service corner to corner, from as far as you can go out west to as far as you can go out east, north and south. We cover it all. Um, and it's an online platform that allows sellers to come online and purchase a package on our system and to list their property on their local MLS. So we belong to hundreds of MLSs, and gives them a lot of autonomy to do much of the heavy lifting themselves for a very reduced price as to what a traditional agent would charge them. So that's what we do.
So, do you have a team across the country, or what's the structure of the business?
So the structure of the business from a license standpoint is the company is licensed in all 48 states, continental states, and we have one broker, one licensed broker in each state. And then we have assistants that will perform the mundane task of entering listings and chasing down documents once they go into contract and updating them, status changes, all that kind of stuff uh, that typically a single agent or a traditional agent would be doing on their own. It's done. So it's all volume based. So we handle 800 to 1,000 listings, new listings a month on it. So it's a conveyor belt basically.
Awesome. Sounds great. So you started in Florida. What did
Mhm.
it take for you to realize you could push this business across the country?
Well, it's Florida was is kind of ground central for this concept. Many of the companies started that are doing this and started here, and then just we have a technical advantage. My partner Jim is a software engineer. He develops software from the ground up, so he developed a software system for us that enables this to be um, like the McDonald's method and Ray Kroc, who invented this conveyor belt system and assembly line system. We can do the same in real estate. So our software systems allows us to do that. Um, and so it's that invention, if you will, or applied application that Jim was able to leverage that has given us the bandwidth to say, okay, let's go. We went from Florida to Alabama, and Alabama worked out. We went to Tennessee, and then we went to South and North Carolina, and it just kind of it started taking on a life of its own, and it got pretty easy. And now it's just the software, the shell of the software exists. So it's now, what do you need to build into the software to be compliant with a state law or a local rule or ordinance that might be there in order to stay compliant with everything that you're doing. So that's the fun part. That's the challenge. So that we truly embrace and enjoy is building those things because it can be done. It is being done.
Excellent. So do you have a team here in Florida? Do you have like a headquarters, or are you all remote?
Everybody's remote, so we have no office space. So we have seven U.S. based folks, and most of them are here in Florida. We have some as far away as Idaho, and then we have over 40 assistants that are throughout the world. So we're in 10 different countries and 4 different continents. We have staff on, which is really cool because we get to learn about these people and their cultures and things that are turned there, and it makes it easier for us because obviously local cultures and religions and such are different. So United States is largely a Christian country, but we have people that are of other faiths that honor other holidays. So on our Christian holidays, we are still working because we have people that don't celebrate those holidays. And when they're celebrating their holidays, then we're working on them and they take them off. So
Right.
um, it's a really pretty cool thing.
Awesome. So tell me about the culture then of your business.
So the culture is innovative, and it's our mission is to change. Our vision is to change the way real estate is sold. Our mission is to change, is to bring technology to the masses, allow buyers and sellers to be able to use the technology to reduce the cost in real estate from a commission standpoint, to reduce the commission in those. And then we just, it's trust, it's, kindness. We never have mean conversations or have nasty conversations. I mean, we could tell you we're disappointed without yelling at you or degrading you or beating you down or anything like that. So I can tell you that we have about 50 people that work for us, and in the 8 years that I've been involved in the company, we've had one person quit in all that
Wow.
time. No, nobody quits. So nobody quits. We treat everybody fairly. We pay everybody well.
Yeah.
We offer benefits to everybody in the United States, and we offer benefits to everybody overseas as well on it. So, which is kind of unheard of when you're working with remote folks like that.
Awesome. So what do you do with the team to build relationships and build that trust amongst your team?
So we do a bi-monthly meeting. We just had it last Friday. So 4 o'clock, the last Friday of the month, every other month, we have a 4 o'clock meeting, and we invite the entire company to come to the meeting. And it's very casual, and we are very engaging. And we do cultural. We do company updates. Where's the company going? Where's the company's focus? And we're extremely transparent with our staff. So it's not like we got these top secret corporate things that we don't share. So they all see the vision, and we don't. Um, uh, we don't change for the sake of change. So we change for improvement. So if it's not going to improve the customer experience first and foremost, it has to improve the customer experience. If it doesn't improve the customer experience, then we're not going to work on it. If it doesn't improve the company culture and the work environment for our employees, we're not going to make the change on it. So those are two big factors for us. And we lead from the position that the most important, most companies and people, I think, will tell you that the most important thing that they have is customers. That we don't believe that's true. We believe that the most important thing are our employees. So if we believe our employees are the most important thing, and we do everything we can to de-stress their lives, de-stress their work environment, um, create a system that works, that creates less stress and friction and animosity in their day to day, and less of that friction crossing over from the closing team to the listing team to the customer service team, to bring all those teams together to make them, although they have their separate functions, they work very well together with as little friction as possible. If they're happy, they make our customers happy. So then thereby our customers become the most important thing as a result of through our employees who then take care of them. Our reviews stand out and show that. So we have, I mean, ridiculously outstanding reviews that are there. So the belief is you take care of the employee takes care of the customer, and you get the residual result from that. So we're constantly working on things of that. Um, but we do, so we started a series about, I don't know, 6, 8 months ago, we started a series where we will take, like in the Philippines, we have a lot of folks that work in the Philippines. So we do a culture day for the Philippines. So the Filipinos that work with us will then talk about all the great things and the different things that are in the Philippines, and we ask questions and we go back and forth. So it's not just about company goals, whatever the case is, it's about connecting. And the people, we have people in Africa, we have people in South America, we have people in Europe, Pakistan, India, you name it, we've got them all over the place. So when they get a chance to talk about their country and their culture and what's unique about them and why they do certain things there, their faces light up, and everybody else becomes super engaging and want to ask questions because we don't understand, we don't know, we want to know, we want to understand. And it becomes a very open dialogue, which then rolls back into we can have the hard conversations inside the company without doing that. So if we could talk about those things that may be a little taboo in certain things, and I'm not going to ask you about your country or certain life things like that. We embrace those things, And then we try to make that into, okay, we could talk about the hard things inside the company. What went wrong with this situation? So not to punish somebody. So we talk about those things so that we can then find out what were they thinking when they took that action? Why did they take that action? Was there a system? Was there something in the system that could have been improved on? And if there was, can we do that? And let's fix the system before we think about doing anything with the employee to discipline or change the employee's behavior. So we want to understand that it becomes a very open environment.
That sounds amazing, and it sounds why you are above average. That's awesome. I mean, totally believe that it's the people, and if we invest in the people, that's why your retention is so great too. You've built a
Yeah,
great.
we well, I could, yeah, we've lost one person that's left us, and that was for medical reasons on there. That was the only reason why he left
Okay.
us. And then we've had to terminate 3 people in 8 years. That's it.
Oh,
So we just simply, we take our time, we really vet the thing, and we look as, we're not going to say that we're in South Florida, we're going to limit it here, or that we're in the United States, we're going to limit there. There's a worldwide talent pool that's out there, and you have to be willing to search. So one of the hardest things we do is hire somebody because it takes us forever. So we have to be very proactive in identifying that we're going to need somebody so that we don't get to a stress point and then have to hire quickly and then hire I don't want to say lower quality, but hire the person that doesn't fit our culture that's going to come into it. And when we do make the decision to hire, we have clearly our management team is driving that bus, but we then have just the average worker bee interview them as well and talk to them, and we take that feedback, and we've had them say, no, we don't think that person's a good fit, and then we'll take that advice and we'll move on with it. But we want them to all buy in and feel that, and they're helping build their own team.
excellent.
So,
So what does growth look like? I mean, are you at the size you need to be to service the US and the world, or what's growth look like?
well, growth looks like there's 2 states still left to tackle, Alaska and Hawaii. So we haven't tackled those states yet.
Okay.
They're not needle movers for us in the terms of business, so we've been slow to move there and more focused on perfecting. So we have a theme to each year. So 2023, the theme was to reinforce and build the foundation to create a better environment for both employee and customer on it. This year is the year of technology. So we're rebuilding a lot of technology solutions and moving them into the 22nd century, and getting ahead of the curve there with it. Then,
Does
of
that
course, we
mean
have this.
AI? Are you adding AI
Uh,
to your
well,
tools?
there'll be
Or?
components of, yeah, they'll definitely, you have to embrace those sort of things, and
Yes.
think forward with that. So we'll definitely embrace all the technologies that are out there, um, and we will look for efficiencies. We don't want to, you don't want to hire employees that you don't need to. You want to create efficiency in your company so you can monetize those efficiencies. So we're looking to do those sort of things, but we're rebuilding the software for the 22nd century on it, and rebuilding platforms and integrations to those platforms that will bring us into the 22nd century, make us more compliant, more responsive to employee and customer needs. So we will keep driving that bus forward. And we don't think we're confined by the borders in terms of the business model. So we do see that there's a chance for us to go beyond the United States and work in different countries. So we're not there yet in making those decisions, but we're definitely we got our eyes open and we're open minded to where could we go beyond the U.S. borders.
Great. So as a CEO, I mean, what is one of your biggest challenges to make it happen?
Uh, Nothing's fast enough.
Yeah.
Nothing's fast enough. Nothing's A lot of things are good enough, but some people say it's never good enough. Well, I kind of disagree with that. I mean, many times it's good enough. It's just never fast enough for me. So you have to, I want to go 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 go, and I'm willing to do something that's broken. I'm willing to launch something and go down the road that's not perfect, that I know is going to be broken, because you'll find out. You know, I think that you get paralyzed by trying to make things perfect before you launch them. So you gotta, obviously you gotta vet it out, and you gotta have a competent product or procedure, whatever the case is, before you something that's going to work, in large part going to work. But we don't worry about I don't want to, I personally don't like to worry about the details to the nth degree, because I don't think that your plan's ever going to work the way you thought it was going to work. I think you're going to have to modify and adapt as you go. So for me, it's just let's get out there, let's be super sensitive to what's new, and let's be super responsive, you know, hyper responsive to any issue that comes on with it. So you put the entire team on notice that, hey, if we're doing this and we know it's not going to be perfect, so as soon as a little glitch comes up, let's make it right for the customer and let's fix it internally, and then we'll have those conversations that I mentioned earlier about how do we make it perfect? How do we make it where it's, all the fail safes that we need in it to where it doesn't burden the staff and then cause issues for our customers.
Excellent. And so you say you're reducing the cost of
Mhm.
transferring real estate. What are the things that are the saves, or where are they less expensive going on your
Well,
platform?
specifically the commission. So when you list with so if you list with a traditional agent, typically you're paying, we'll go crazy, model 6%, right? So that's what's been out there for the longest, and that's been there since 1912. So that model was invented in 1912, and it's now being destroyed by the lawsuits that are out there in the Department of Justice and others that are feeding into that whole thing. So this whole commission structure and everything came about in 1912 with the National Association of Realtors, and it's outlived its life expectancy. And the National Association of Realtors have been defending this model for years, and in some ways have discouraged innovation inside the community and limited innovation in some ways, and created rules which they've now agreed to settle for these violations, that force sellers to pay these higher commissions. Well, with us, you don't have to pay a listing commission. So we get paid when you come to us. You pay us a couple $100 to list your property, and then when you sell your property, you pay us a quarter of 1%. So quarter. So if you sold your house for $100,000, we would make $200 in the front, and when you close, we get 250 bucks. That's what we would get. So whereas if you sold it with a traditional agent, that same $100,000 house, you'd pay nothing up front, but you'd pay $3,000 on a 3% commission to the selling agent, and then $3,000 to the buyer's agent. So for us, we eliminate that seller side commission, um, and we work on marketing the property in all the same way. So there's really, from a marketing perspective and an exposure perspective, there's really no difference in what we do than our competitors do that are in the traditional space. So it's all the same thing,
And do you help
less
on
money.
the buy side too? Did you say buyers can also use your tool, or is it really focused on the selling side?
Well, it's focused on the selling side. Buyers do come to us, and then we pair them straight with the seller. And if that's the case, then the seller saves the entire commission. They pay nothing. So that gives a lot more wiggle room, because the seller then can, keep that as profit, as additional revenue from it, or they can assist the buyer with closing costs and those sort of things to help them with with that on there. But we find that a considerable number of people do come to us straight, and work deals straight with the sellers themselves on it, and then we'll be there to keep it compliant. We'll provide the paperwork. We'll go through the paperwork. We'll help them through the process on it to make sure everything goes the way it's supposed to, and smooth, and everything with it. So we're there to provide that service for them.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, because that's really
Mhm.
an interesting way to do transfer, buy and
Mhm.
sell.
Yeah.
So that sounds amazing. And
Mhm.
I have a question about work-life balance for your team. I mean, do you find that you can manage work-life balance, and how do you offer that to your team?
Well, yes. So the team so most of our staff is paid hourly. There are a few people that are paid salary, and the we so we're into the bus theory. So we want to have the right people on a bus. So it goes back to our hiring processes on it. So if you're on a bus, you have to have a purpose on the bus, and you have to be able to drive the bus in certain points. So one person can't drive it all the time. So we empower all of our department leaders and heads and such to take action on their own. And I don't come and dump a problem on me. You can come and tell me that this was an issue, this is how I solved it. That'll be great. I may not like how you solved it, and we'll have a conversation about how we would do it better next time. But I want you to make a decision. I'm going to encourage you to make a decision. The And if I disagree with your decision, I'll accept your decision. You will not be punished for your decision. We will just talk about how we should maybe handle this the next time, or whatever the case is on it. But we it's all about people. So the the real thing is for us is that, we have to be careful with the work-life balance because the people that work with us truly love what we do. I mean, it's kind of amazing. It's cult-like, quite honestly.
It dang-
Um, it really is cult-like. So I could tell you that my partner Jim works nonstop. I mean, but he and I would both tell you the same thing. If God came down and said, Ralph, what do you want to do? I would ask him, just thank him and tell him I'm already doing it. I don't want to do anything else. So it's not work for me.
Mhm.
It really is that this is a form of entertainment and fun for me. So I enjoy every minute of what we're doing. And Jim is the same way. And the people that we have around us that way feel very much the same way, and they demonstrate that. So I don't have to, they demonstrate that they feel that way. So we have one person um, that a couple weeks ago I called out in a meeting because she's working too much. So, and I can see she's working too much. So it's like, and we work from virtual machines. So, which is, so you use your computer, but you're really on our computer because it's a virtual machine that you have to log into to work on it. So I let her know that if she's not going to reduce her hours on her own accord, that we're then going to put locks on her computer on a virtual machine that she can only work certain hours. So it'll lock her out. She's just simply not going to be able to do it. Um, but that's discipline for us, right? So I don't want her working 65 hours a week. That's absolutely not expected and not what we want from anybody. 40 hours a week, and if you need to go over 2 or 3 hours, okay, we'll live with that. But it's not about doing that. But work-life balance can get out of control. And then all of our folks that work overseas are all full-time people, all work on an hourly basis. Um, and they get paid overtime if they work anything above that. But we manage that as well. So we have a cap on what they can work over. So we won't, I mean, some of them would be willing to work 70, 80 hours a week. We won't let that happen. You got a cap, you can work 10 hours overtime a week. That's the most you can work.
Great. I'm sure some of them
So,
are like that.
well, some
You
of them do. I mean, it's a different world, right? So there, it's kind of sad when you see how some of these folks have to live at certain times and stuff on it, and some of the things that happen. And like there's certain places in the Philippines that are really prone to flooding. There's no government assistance. Your house floods, there's no flood insurance. There's no homeowners insurance that we have here. So if your house burns down, figure out how to pay for it. If your house
Mhm.
floods, figure out how to pay for it. So that's a thing there. I mean, it's extreme. It's sad when we've had those things happen to some staff members, and we will help where we can help, but we can't rebuild a house. So we can't do that.
And I was talking to someone in Argentina, and he says like they don't have mortgage. You can't go get a mortgage. You pay full price for
Mhm.
your home, so it's everything, right?
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
different model than what we have.
yeah. The Philippines, you can get a mortgage, but insurance is not required, which is kind of
Yeah,
odd that somebody would risk that money and not insure their money. So, but that's the battle. That's the way it works.
interesting. Well, one last question. What advice
Mhm.
would you give a new entrepreneur just starting their journey and facing the challenges of starting a business?
The last thing you should worry about is money. So if you're doing it just because of if you're doing it because you see the dollars, you're going to fail. You have to do it because you see a cause. You have to do it because you see a passion in it. You have to do it because you love it. You have to do it because it's calling you in some fashion. Whatever that is. I mean, it's just I really enjoy building surfboards. Then surfing is my life. Okay, then build surfboards. You'll be immensely successful building surfboards. But if you're doing something just for the sake of the money that you perceive that you're going to get out of it, I can pretty much say that two things are going to happen. You're going to be miserable, and that's not okay. And you're most likely not going to succeed because you're going to be worrying. You're going to be building it for monetary reasons, as opposed to the reasons that the community that you're trying to serve needs the product or the service or whatever it is you're doing on it.
Awesome. Well said, right? It's
Yeah.
all about the
So
passion. So thank you so
yeah,
much
yeah.
for
Mhm.
joining me today, Ralph. It was great to meet you and learn more about
You
your business.
too.
And awesome.
Thank you.
And everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you on our next episode.